as one of the two SMGs. Havoc having the other. He's just behind him at quad. So with this smoke execution that Liquid likes to run, this will give them a bit of a chance for not only mobility, but a close quarters combat without losing rifles in an awkward situation. Mid boost, though, they've actually tried to sell this on a second round force with these Tech 9s and 2 kills come in at once. Hiko and Elise. This is actually kind of clever from Team Liquid.
Definitely is. Ratio now is they are going to get the trade back, and that's the bomb dropped as well. In the middle of nowhere. They do have the player advantage, and that is the only saving grace for Team Liquid.
Havoc needs to just not peek this. Don't get over aggressive, and walks back out to Adren. He had the rifle. If he even just conceded the plant at that point and tried to go for a retake, if he catches one or two before, it might have given him a chance, but walking back out like that, there was never any hope. To be fair, there wasn't for the other as well, but wishful thinking.
Thing is, if that's a 3v3 and then the bomb's dropped, that's the CT's round more than likely. So that was a sketchy situation there for Liquid, even though they do end up picking it up regardless.
Second time Renegades have been eco'd as well. They've lost 2 out of the 3 opening pistols, Team Liquid on their T sides, but eco'd 2 of them, meaning that they've gotten the early start. Now for the third time, and here we go again. Nitro with the AK, just gonna walk in 3. Elise will follow up with the 4th, and Hiko closes the round, but this is good. Nitro needs to be on this map particular.
Yeah, Cash is the kind of map that if your entry frag is on point, you know, the likes of Freakazoid, for example, for Cloud9, if he's doing well, they just get onto sites. It's really that simple. So if Nitro can start to feel it, if he's got the likes of Elise behind him as well, backing him up, I can see them bursting onto sites here, and you can see Renegades, they're into an eco already. So Team Liquid starting off very well indeed after losing that first round.
Nitro this time taking the more damage inside that middle, so Elise will be pushing forward. He's got 2. This is the 1-2 punch coming into effect again. 3 now for Elise. And the same 2 culprits to close it out. Fugly and Hiko again. All smiles so far, as it should be. Elise with the biggest of all of them, perhaps. Little Johnny looking happy.
It's obviously an anti-eco round, but the manner in which Elise spins around here and gets the headshot is pretty sick. Even in slow motion, that's incredibly fast. So
well, this is where things get interesting, because now we've got full guns and no AK, or rather, excuse me, no AWPs in play. But it's a bit of a force, even though it is M4s, because look at the utilities. It's light. They'll use smokes to slow things down, but that first pick's huge, because now without kits, they've given themselves a chance until Sponge overextends just slightly inside middle, and it throws it back Liquid's way.
I do wonder if it would be more for Renegades in this round to, instead of going for full M4s, maybe bite the bullet and take a FAMAS.
FAMAS and some utilities, yeah. I mean, we see lots of teams doing that, and more so a kit, like just for the one kit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how many times do we see that be a factor?
This is very one-dimensional now, and it could still pay off for them because they do take the player advantage. But super high risk, high reward here. Yam's going to get caught. Both players dropping down. That could very well transition into a bomb plant. Both CTs going to be coming from... I was going to say from CT side, but in actual fact, they're splitting up. Havoc will be coming round into vent.
He may not spot Adren here. Pushed so far forward. Tries to bounce out of smoke. But Adren heard that hit the wall and doesn't even hesitate to keep his eyes pointed in the right direction. JKS 23 HP is going to look for exits, but soon going to have to move, and is doing so already because he's got to get far away from the C4 to hold on to the M4. And this will give Liquid now 4 rounds again to start things off. It's looking good again.
And not to harp on this point too much, but let's say, hypothetically, Renegades, you know, they went for a FAMAS or 2 FAMASs, they likely would have a defuse kit in this situation and potentially something like a Molotov. And that 2v2 would have been a lot more realistic for them to retake that site. So it's like that domino effect again of CS. I think they do manage to save the weapon at the end. Slight saving grace for the CTs, but still, this start has been anything but smooth for them. I remember they won the first round as well, right? And then they just got force-board.
It's definitely the most divine beard in all of CS.
It's pretty sexy.
JKS, we'll see if that one M4 can come into play. It's got armor as well, no one else does. Good force push by Sponge, but ultimately all he does is damage to Nitro. Not a kill. Would have been beneficial if he could get more, but maybe that damage is enough because Hiko, or rather Havoc, excuse me, as Hiko follows up on Sponge, is able to get the kill when Nitro walks in. That leaves it to 4-on-4. And they catch the rotation and the flank from Azur. That's big as well, because if he could have taken one down and picked up a rifle, it could have been huge. Instead, Elise will just close this out.
I think you called this as well earlier on. You said it's probably going to come down to who gets more T rounds.
That's the thing. On this map, absolutely. I expected this to already be more contested, more back and forth. I mean, it's early yet. We did have an eco and a gun round go against Renegades, so we haven't really seen them bring out weaponry just yet. They can still fight their way back into it, but the problem is starting out this way on the CT side. Money bonus is going to work for them now, but economic game CT sided, you've got to buy more utilities, the guns are more expensive, it's just that much harder to claw back into games, so ultimately this is the perfect start for Team Liquid.
And that's the thing as well, like even if Renegades do start to get AWPs in play, the foundations have already been built for Liquid with 5 rounds, and obviously Brick is a lot more sturdy than paper is, and that's what Renegades are going off right now. They're going off that money, you know, that dangling in front of them saying, okay, yes, we're 4 rounds behind, but we can get AWPs, right? We can get M4s, we can get decent weapons. Well, that's only half the battle. You have to then win and convert the round afterwards.
And we just saw briefly when the money popped up that there's already 5 digits worth on some of the Liquid players. There you go, 12-4-5-0 on a Dren, in fact. And he, and this map in particular, will not touch that AWP unless he needs to. So look for them to run the 5 rifle. Speaking of it, though, we are going to see that double op setup again from Renegades. They used it on Cash because they needed, or rather, excuse me, on Cobble because they needed desperately back in. And this time it gets 1 plus a tag, and Havoc somehow manages to get away. 4 HP. Remember, though, they had the first pick last time they ran this, and it went against them. Azure makes their chances a heck of a lot better, though, by taking down Elige.
He does. Bomb, however, has been dropped in a position that can be reclaimed for Liquid. Still a minute and 10 to play with, so the mind games could come into effect. And the fact that 2 players are very low now in the sense of Havoc and Azza could start to make Renegades doubt their positions. Boost up onto Fugly here on the boxes. And just desperately trying to get that opening pick. If they can get a kill, this is very doable for Liquid. And they do have more than enough time to make that a reality. 2 players now in mid, looking for the crossfire. Bomb's just chilling outside of main. So I feel this is a round that Renegades, they have to lose this in this kind of situation, you know? It would be more them losing than Liquid necessarily winning.
I kind of agree with you, but the one benefiting factor right now for Team Liquid is obviously the HP disadvantage that Havoc and Azure have. Not to mention Yam. I mean, he's got an AWP. It's only going to take him 1 shot. Same can be said for Havoc, but if either of those guys go down early enough, it gives them a chance. And there we go. Now they've got 2 kills back, plus the 2 low HP players back. Still in this. A Sponge gets back to Hiko. It does allow the bomb to go down. Good placement, though, already as they swarm the site. But Fugly, that's a huge kill to take JKS. Can't spray through the back of the forklift, but Nitro now pops out. And this is just brilliant from Liquid. They've played this so well to walk back into the site. We saw Havoc miss 1 shot on the entry. That potentially could have been enough. And I don't know, did they lose it in your opinion, Vince?
Yep. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Like, from that point on, if somehow Liquid take the round, it's more Renegades throwing it away than necessarily Liquid performing fantastically. Now, don't take anything away from Liquid. That was still solid, but Renegades, like, their positions, man.
The one good thing that Liquid did is after they lost the first 2 players, they slowed it down massively, and we saw them deploy the Molotov on doorway, the smoke on main. So basically, they baited out the utilities the few utilities as well that they knew Renegades had. Oh, Yam. That's pretty. As is that, through the smoke from Sponge. The Deagles with 2 already.
You need to record yourself, like, doing these English voices, man. I would definitely buy that.
I blame Paula. I never did this until I met him.
Fantastic Deagle work. Gives Renegades a chance in this round, but still, when you look at the weapons, yes, you've got a player advantage, but you're well and truly behind when it comes down to equipment. Adren has just fired on in with the AWP. Still an AK in the hands of Yam. After that ridiculous 1 dig. I think he was fully flashed as well, right? And running.
Yeah, well, fully flashed for sure. I think the mechanic, he probably strafed back in time to hit that shot, but JKS now got to take down a Dren. Things looking good again on an eco here for Renegades. They didn't close the last one, but they had the advantage this time more so. 3 versus 1. They know exactly where Nitro is. They're going to push into it. He's limited by the fire, so he can't even get himself into safety. And Havoc shows up just in time to take him down. That's going to give them their 2nd round, and kind of fitting in a way that they win it on an eco because this resets the money bonus, but they'll have money to buy in where they didn't invest in the previous round.
Very true. Here is the Deagle shot. Boom. Ridiculous. I think Fugly will probably be a tiny bit pissed after that. I know I would be if I was in his position. But these things happen. That is Counter-Strike in a nutshell. As you mentioned, though, with that eco victory, Renegades are definitely in a good position to start to get some consecutive rounds on the board. A slower start for Liquid here. Bomb, as you can see, is dropped. That's normally an indication that terrorists are going hunting for frags and not going to commit to anything just yet.
Slower pace now as well. That door already being open does pull a player from mid, so they've rotated one up highway in the form of Yam. It's not an opening for Liquid to try and go through mid. They stick around at A, and maybe that's not the right approach because they lose Elise. Great shot by Adren, though. And here we go. So he does bring out that T-side AWP. You've got so much money, it's not like it's a desperate play, but it pays off. More so at Nitro.
Very smart.
You can't say enough about him.
Yeah, he's played so well. Again, though, the pop goes in first and drops, and Azza, in a blink of an eye, takes down 2 players, gives Renegades the advantage, and they have control over the bomb for a few more seconds. Adren has landed another shot, and there's Sponge and JKS. A huge round for Renegades.
And this is it. This is what they haven't been able to do. They did it at Cobble at the very end when it was 11-4, but definitely didn't do it on Overpass. They've reset the round bonus, but also won the second round immediately after. This is their chance to get back into the half. And Liquid, beautiful. Again, a momentum-based team. It's a good thing they've already got 6 rounds on this T-side because now it's not certain whatsoever. This next round, I mean, look at the money. Whoever wins this is going to be in a great situation. And Liquid going to try and contest this mid-control again. Sponge is stuck in behind the sandbags. It's decent if you can hit the first shot, but you're so limited in your movement. And there you go. Adren just stares at that corner. The second his head shows up, he just clicks it.
Yeah, it's very true. It is a very limiting position, and that one Molotov can pretty much neutralize you. There's the second opening pick for Liquid, and it's just off the back of Renegades peeking. I can understand the player behind sandbags going for the information, but that second kill was completely unneeded. JKS is going to be flashing, and he's forced into a position where he has to go for an aggressive play. I can completely understand this. There's the first one. Second frag as well. He's hungry for a third, but he will get traded out, and the moment of heroics has came and gone, and Liquid have put another round on the board.
Big that Hiko was in that position, because how quickly they would have had to turn around and divide their attention as they tried to take the site, and with one player in heaven, it could have just been enough to catch them off guard. So him stopping that flank before it got any worse. I mean, this was big, though. When he walked through the smoke, he almost didn't see that right there. When he swung around, just moving a little bit too quick for his eyesight. Either way, it still worked out for 2 kills as they had no idea where he came from. And it's going to be a double scout force to complement these M4s that they are able to afford on Renegade's side. And Adren's going to go back to the WP. Watch the aggressive push, not able to hit the shot as Azur does go down to 46. But they're still at the doorway, and Elise pushes forward. There's 2 of them there, therefore it's double the damage. He does a massive amount against Sponge, who just shows too much body. And Adren, he'll take it. Follow that up with JKS going down to Fugly. And it's a one-man advantage for Team Liquid. Nitro knows the situation that Havoc's stuck inside the corner as well, so a very aggressive round from Renegades, and they get caught out by it.
They certainly do. I suppose one thing that may be in the back of Renegade's mind is that their CT sides have been weaker so far today in this best of 3. That was definitely the case on Cobblestone, so maybe their T side is going to be something spectacular. And it's going to have to be, because they're going to be trailing at the end of this half, whatever happens. Already 8 rounds on the board for Liquid, 8-3. And now it's just damage limitation from Renegades. They need to get as many of these as possible. I think anything less than 5 is GG. I can't see them coming back from a 10-5 deficit here on Cash.
Well, we talked about the economic possibilities for Renegades to finally get back in. That's been extinguished by Liquid.
Look at that buy up for Renegades.
I love how I love how I said Adren would not use the AWP on the side, but he's been getting picks with it. He makes me eat my words. I think he's been showing a lot more confidence in general lately, to be honest.
To be fair to your point, though, I think that's a direct result of how Renegades has been playing their CT side. He's realised there's pickings out there. You know, you've got to adapt to how your enemy's playing.
Well, right now they're just going to keep this anti-eco rolling. It'll be 9 rounds for Liquid against the 3 of Renegades. We called it the group of death. Renegades have been to the 2 previous majors. Liquid, they've hardly had decent results on European soil, but in the driver's seat so far on Cash. Not done just yet. Good shot by Yam as well to take down Nitro and get a gun out of at least his hands. It's a bit far for him to run and try and save it without being countered, and already bullets fly through the walls onto his position and eventually into his body.
9-3. For me, Renegades may need the rest. They very well may need the rest here. And it all starts here. a decent enough buy up in terms of grenades. They've got Molotovs to play with, 3 of them in total. Smokes, flashes, 1 HE, and 1 defuse kit. And a pretty standard setup here as well from the 2-1-2 approach. No one playing aggressive. They're going to go for the boost. And I think they're going to land it. There we go, from Az's perspective.
Yeah,
and this is
well
the first time I think we've seen them boost.
It'd be interesting to see if Liquid check that as a result. It's commonly checked, but is there any indication they've gone for it? Usually Nitro just busts in and rips everyone apart. I would expect the second man is going to have to find it. Usually that's a Liege, and a Liege is the one that's close enough to it.
Yeah. But the reason why this boost is so good is because if people don't check it, you just get an easy spray down. And even if people do, if you've got a crossfire set up on A, it's still very, very hard to get rid of. Because you're coming through the doors, you're directly looking up to your right
It's a broad angle, right? You leave yourself open.
Indeed.
And the door opens, Hiko. Now, this is one of the other things to note. And you're seeing it right now. Fugly's on the B site. Hiko's on A. So we talk about this lurk potential from Hiko, but Cash in specific, Hiko only ever goes to Squeakly. Fugly does exactly this on B. So they both kind of occupy a lurking role depending on the map. And then the other 3 members, the core 3, they'll just rotate back and forth based on that information and the picks that either of them are able to achieve. And it's really good because both people are so familiar with these spots that they know exactly what's going on at all times. It's not like one round Hiko was at A and didn't pick up on the subtle nuances of the defense at B. Fugly knows exactly what they're doing and apparently exactly where they're playing, because he'll take Yam on the entry, and it's down to just Havoc and Azer. And not only that, they took down mid-control in the process, so Liquid had everything available to them that round.
Just a phenomenal round there from Liquid. Pretty much as flawless as you're going to see a T round. And we're getting to that point now where Renegades have to just save.
This is a
and hope
good
for the
spot to
best.
do so.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I am almost 100% sure Liquid will go hunting for these weapons. There's no reason for them not to. They've got plenty of funds.
More so because they're heading into round 14.
Indeed.
I mean, you're getting that much closer to half. It's not like you losing a weapon is going to be any more costly.
Whereas taking these 2 M4s away from Renegades could force them into like a pistol or a Mag 7, so something like that. So it's much more worthwhile for Liquid to lose these on the off chance. You can see their economy just before it switched over. I think I saw some with like 15k. That's pretty much across the board, so they're good to go here. Both M4s were kept though from the CTs. Here's a boost.
Yeah. I love that the run boost was brought back in. There was a time when certain leagues allowed it, most didn't, and then eventually everyone just agreed to allow it. And there's been some good creativity. There's actually one you can do at mid as well in this map. It's not as viable because you become quite open, but if you get up on the little lip on the garage, good forward presence. And we are going to see a scout buy again in round 14. It's only 1 because they've got rifles this time. Another run boost for Azer because it never really came into play, but it might be spotted more easily because Nitro's coming up from highway and already has that shot. I'll get back to my point about that other run boost in a minute, but it's now down to just 2 Renegades members again, and I said we might not see so much of a T-sided half. Liquid have silenced me here. So the bomb's going to go down again.
That's the issue with going for the boost. It really is. It leaves yourself very vulnerable. JKS is going to try and make something happen. There's 2 frags. Gives a real chance at this. The flashbang, though, is on point. And there you go. They go for the boost. It takes 2 people out of the... for a few moments, and they'll go for the boost. And if you don't have control over mid, that's what's going to happen. They're going to come up the highway. There's no way of you seeing that. There's no way of you stopping that from Az's perspective. And from there on in, he just dies, and that's the round over.
Impressive stuff. The other run boost I was going to say, you can actually get up on top of that lip. I guess if you're, from a T-side perspective, looking out to the right above the white box, and you can actually run boost straight over top of the boost in mid, but I can't remember who it was that did that about 8 months ago. It was like the only time I've ever seen it used in a competitive game. It's not really viable. You get spotted pretty quickly when you do it. Still fun to watch.
Oh, I always love watching boosts. And a part of me, because I'm kind of a douchebag, has a bit of a chuckle when they fail them. Just saying.
Well, that bomb is down now, actually. Sponge finding Nitro. He was holding on to it. Elise gets back to Azer, but they've got no one else in that big garage. Sponge knows he can't necessarily stay that forward on aggressive toward it, so he's actually rotated back through the vents to give it up. But with the picks, they can fall out and spread across the map until Hiko takes Havoc. Now they're in an awkward position. They've got to play a retake game onto the A site.
The retake game with no defuse kits and only 1 smoke. Good luck, Renegades. That would have been the perfect start, but Hiko somehow gets the better of Sponge, even though everything was against him. Here comes JKS, and he started to show he's still in this game. But very similar to Overpass, where he's the only player with more kills than deaths. There's not much he can do by himself. Here comes the flashbang. Spots the first player. Looks to spin on a sixpence and land the shot, but that's not going to be the case. Has another crack at the kill and does get it, but the time is ticking down. And without the defuse kit, all Fugly has to do is wait, and this will be 12-3. And there we go. 12-3 on T-side of Cash. Renegades, do they have another comeback in store?
Oh, we've seen 11-4 work for them. 13-2 work against them. Split the difference?
I'm not necessarily sold on that.
And is this patch on the CT side still affecting Renegades? Because they look lost a lot. The duels more than anything. I mean, the early picks, they haven't found them at all. The only rounds they've been able to pick up the early picks are when they go to that dual op setup. And that's not affordable because how far on the back foot they are.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is they may not even ever get to that point, because if they lose the pistol round, that's pretty much it. You know, you're expecting the pistol round and the next 2 rounds to go the way of
That's true as well.
whoever wins, that would be 15.
Yep.
And then you're looking at that's pretty much game. So Renegades, I can't stress enough how huge this pistol round is for them.
Fast play toward mid from at least Havoc. He's just going to try and spot out rotations because the rest are heading toward B. That's where Hiko's waiting, who tries to do damage to Yam, but not successful. Yam, in fact, hardly loses anything. It's JKS that loses health in the process, but that allows the bomb now to get onto the platform. Havoc follows up on a Liege, and now he's cutting off all the rotations. Nitro as well, and Havoc's been a little quiet, but these kills are very important. As Fugly drops in, he'll eventually die as well, and Renegades could be on to the start they had on Cobble. We'll see if that pays off.
Solid round. Solid round there. But again, they still trail by 8 rounds.
Semler, get out of the way. Why are you blocking the shot, man?
He's a big dude. Oh. There we go. He's off. He's had enough of watching this game, apparently. He was filling in for you on host. I think you're back to host after this, aren't you?
We'll see. I think so, yep.
But either way, Liquid, again, this is the position they're in. They don't have to bother with the force buy. There's such a huge lead for them. They can wait for a double op setup if that's what they want to do, even if it puts them at like 12-6. That is A-OK as far as they're concerned. And here comes Sponge. As expected, Renegades are going to pick up the first couple frags. They should convert into the A site. And that bomb plant plus the round. And Team Liquid are going to move together.
JKS able to shut down Nitro before he can get close enough for the pistol to come into effect against these rifles, and that will seemingly be the case for everyone remaining on Team Liquid. Haven't seen a Zeus kill yet, but we've seen a lot of them bot this series.
That's a good point, actually. We saw Nothing get, what, like 3 of them?
Oh man, he's gotten at least 3. I think there was 7 in that first series Cloud9 played on Monday, or Tuesday, I guess, as it were.
Yeah.
Feels like a Monday because we're doing a week-long event.
So here comes another eco from Liquid. Again, they are opting for the massive buy in the next round. I'm expecting to see at least 1 AWP, potentially even 2. They're going to go for the stack on the B side. And the bomb is on this side of the map right now from Renegades, but whether it's going to push into the site or not is a whole different matter altogether. What I'd like to see the other 2 players do here is actually be pushing out more aggressively and trying to scout out what's going on so they can get an idea of where this stack is. Because the issue now is, like, Renegades have no idea where the CTs are. Now they're starting to get an idea.
Yeah, they're just gonna get the scouting report, but look at that, no one's peeking. I love this X-ray. This is like the perfect way for us to see it, but if they only knew what we know, they're gonna walk in. Good shot for Sponge to take down 1, makes it more probable, but Nitro pops out at the right time to counter it. As they're onto Fugly, can Hiko, there's still 3 here, can Hiko do anything about it? As they continue forward, Azur gets another 2, dropped eventually, bombs down, 37 seconds, lots of time to recover it, and more importantly, Hiko with only 9 HP. And now definitely have his position figured out. Tries to use the smoke to his advantage, but eventually it will all be for naught. They've cut the lead in half, 12-6. But now the guns come out for Team Liquid.
Curiosity comes in the sense for me what they're going to buy.
This will also be, to me, the first indication of how much the patch will hurt Team Liquid, because this, in my opinion, is their best CT-sided map. So if they struggle here, it might be a key.
Right, so they're going for the 1 AWP in the hands of Adren, and he's gone mid. Look at this, though.
4 A4s as well, so they have definitely switched things up. Hiko used to use the weapon. Look at how fast this is.
Elite just goes straight through middle. No one checks that. The flashbang as well. Just pure control. It was a 1-3-1 formation at the beginning. 3 players just going straight out of connector. And just like that, Liquid have complete dominance. Make that another frag. Somehow Azza gets round the back of Liquid but can't convert that into a frag. This is just an absolute collapse. A capitulation for Renegades, and they take no players with them to their grave.
They're so good in that A site. And we saw, I mean, it started off with the push in mid, which was a bit awkward and very, very fast. But Fugly, just in behind that quad position. Again, Nitro used to play there with him. Now they've switched Nitro out onto that highway, and he's got the accuracy to be the perfect swing player. And if they can still lock A down without him even coming into the fold, like, it's ridiculous. So 13 rounds, they take the first gun. Still weapons and money available to Renegades, though.
Identical start as well. I'm getting deja vu. Like, that's literally a carbon copy of what we just saw in round 19. And there's no reason not to. It worked incredibly well. It is starving out mid control, which is such a key aspect of Cash. JKS, though, is going to get the first frag. And that will spread Liquid that little bit thinner across the board. The bomb's been dropped just outside of Garage. And for now, the CTs are happy enough just to boost up. This is a delayed boost, though, from Fugly, but it's not going to matter a great deal because it hasn't been spotted from Renegades. As it gets the Molotov kill onto Elite, what happened there?
There's a slight smoke on the edge of it. I don't think he realized that they didn't quite overlap as expected, so he burns alive. It's 2 men down. Nitro, great shot again with the AK, and if the M4s are problematic, just pick up the guns your opponents have. Sponge, though, takes Eco. Now he's got an AWP. They've pushed beyond enemy lines as well as he's at tree. With the smoke in front of Nitro as well, he won't have vision of the bomb planter. And Fugly, he's way off site right now, as Azur's held him in position on A. That means Nitro's going to look for an exit. Surely he has to, and Sponge with the AWP gets him. Fugly at least able to keep the AK for now, but they'll surely hunt. They can afford to. 3 members up. And this will actually do more damage to Liquid's economy than the last round certainly did to Renegades, as they only secured the first gun and then lost the ensuing. Much better approach that time from Renegades.
Yeah, solid round. Opening picks are always fantastic from a team's perspective here on Cash. That's what they got. It spread Liquid out, and they did force through the chinks in the armor. Liquid could have gone for a force. Instead, they go for the eco again. I completely agree with this decision. No point trying to cut this one too fine and give Renegades more opportunities, because Renegades are slowly but surely creeping back into this.
Oh, great shot by Yam.
Yep. Sponge is there as well, and this time around it's not as big a deal for Liquid to get caught out and picked off, because they're in effectively just pistols, so they want to get the information. But the last round was a bit of a warning shot, I think, from Renegades, because Liquid lost 3 players just literally off picks. Although one of them did burn alive in smoke, which is kind of unfortunate.
Bomb has been planted.
It's a pretty cool looking 5.7 skin.
It is, isn't it? It's the same one that I think everyone on Flipside uses, if I'm not mistaken. They deckle them up with their stickers. I wonder if it was given to him as an honorary gift for his ESWC time with them. But now they'll hit 8. Remember, Renegades were able to come back on Cobblestone. Liquid needs to avoid that slump here, because what an absolutely bizarre series it would be if that happened here.
I think all analysis would be out the window at that point. We did have one of those moments, me and DDK were casting a best of 3 yesterday, that was just unbelievably crazy.
Final one of the evening, Copenhagen Wolves ended up winning that over Lounge. Yep. Those of you who didn't join us, Nitro's going to go for this reverse boost. Look at Yam, though. He's on top of the truck. He's further back. He's ready for it. Doesn't hit the jump shot. Or rather, the jump with the shot. Just shot slightly too high above the head, and they fall off it as a result. They now know that that's not an option. They dare not mess with that. So the 5 rifles of the counter-terrorist side actually stacked up right now with 3 players toward mid will fan out across the map. And they will bring actually Nitro more toward his perpetual home inside that A site. So back to tradition here.
Yeah, back to the standard stuff. 3 Molotovs in the hands of Renegades. These could be thrown on either site. So again, it's going to be one of those touchy-feely rounds where Renegades tries to poke and probe Liquid until they find a weakness that they can utilize Adrian just tapping through the smoke. Isn't going to get anything for his troubles. And meanwhile, Renegades finally start to make a move up mid. 30 seconds left to play with, and it looks as though the bomb is going to wrap its way around into the A side. 2 players still there, though, from Liquid.
Well-timed flash keeps JKS out a little bit longer, but no smokes, no kits either. Elise is rotating out. They're giving this up because they know that the bomb's over toward that A main, so the information call's correct, but that one kill, luckily Hiko gets it back, could have pulled them off of it. Instead, they get everything on the entrance. Well done by Renegades. Elise at least gets one in return, and does still give them the man advantage, but... And you were pointing out at that TK.
Yam wrecked Azra in the back of the head.
Yeah.
He did get for a 2-for-1, though.
Well, that would have been, yeah, and that's the thing, because that kill actually now gives Liquid a bit of a chance here. It would have been 2-on-2 otherwise. Actually, 2-on-3 the other way otherwise, but there it is. Yam and Sponge going to follow this up. It's left to Hiko. He's able to get one, continues that spray through the box, and Hiko does it! The man clutches again, no kit! I think he's just barely got enough time, but this is going to be tight!
Yeah, he's got it. Big Hiko comes in again for another clutch. It's how he started Cobblestone off.
Insane.
It's only fitting he's come full circle.
And this is huge for him to win this round right now because, again, the economic factor. This would have given another save round against them, and then Renegades are firmly back in it. So winning that clutch, I mean, this is what Hiko has to offer in this team. Is it going to be enough? 14 rounds for Liquid.
Even though they win that round, you can still see the economic damage that they've suffered. 3 FAMASes. That range should not come out on top. I say that, they go for a triple peek through B. That is not something you're expecting from Renegade's perspective, but I love that. Realizing they're likely going to be second best when it comes to the weaponry they have, force something. Push the envelope. Try something different.
Yeah, I'm still watching this angle toward mid. Dancing on the right side. Ali not willing to peek out just yet. That's Nitro, excuse me. The name in the X-ray from this far away from the screen. It's tricky.
It is. It's been a strange old series as well.
Good shot by Yam, though, and that's the problem, is Nitro gave him so much space.
This is why mid's so important in this map.
Absolutely, because look at the problem now. There's only one player left on that A site. He could just stay alive long enough for the rotates. It might help, but it's Hiko, and never count Hiko out of the round. He's going to spray through, can't find the second kill, but Nitro will. That allows him to turn his attention to the left. And remember, that bomb is still down in front of the E-box. As Renegades, they need to secure more kills. Low HP for Havoc, and that allows Nitro, who's rotated the long way, to pick up yet another. And it's going to be map and match point, excuse me, for Team Liquid. Impressive stuff, it has to be said, from the American squad.
It's important not to underrate Hiko's role there. He only got 1 kill, but he by himself stopped the push and did quite a bit of damage to another player or 2, actually. So that was huge for Team Liquid. Allowed them to wrap themselves in. He bought the time up for the rest of his team in our Renegades. The simple fact is, they have to win the next 7 rounds to take us into overtime, or Liquid will be progressing through into the winners section of this group stage.
And they've got 3 Galils plus a Deagle to kick that off with. Bounced Molotov. Havoc shoots through that flash and actually does take down Fugly. So they've got a man up now to work with, but Nitro was also snuck forward. He'll take Havoc in turn and drop the bomb, but as that's traded, it now puts a lot of pressure on Adren, who will have smoke to his right and a player to his left. Which does he elect to go for first? It doesn't matter. The terrorists have already won the round as Renegades pick up 9.
Great round for Renegades. Maybe there is another twist, another turn in this tale yet. I've got to be honest, though, in my mind, I'm kind of counting them out. Then again, I did on Cobblestone, and we saw how that one played out at the end.
I mean, the good news, if they were on 14 and it started to crumble away, then it becomes a problem, but they've at least got that 15th round Liquid. They can definitely afford to save here, and naturally,
oh, yeah.
Why would you even consider forcing up with this kind of a lead? But it takes the pressure off, right? They know they're at least going to overtime. There's not... It would be disastrous, but it's not like it's the end of the world.
To be fair, they could probably double eco here and still be fine, because their economy's not fantastic.
That was interesting that both those players got away and that boost didn't really happen. I thought they were going to just leave someone with their head poking up watching the vent, but Renegades will slow things down a bit, take the bomb toward that long position on A. Sponge is now checked out mid, so they'll be able to walk and swarm this A side, even though it's a stack.
Yeah, not really too much to talk about in that round. It's just a case of Renegades cleaning up the anti-eco. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I'd like them to double eco here, because they've got like about 3.5 to 4k
And it looks like they're going to. They picked up a few utilities and P250s. Oh, there we
grenades.
go. 4 tasers.
So what do you reckon? We're going to have a fast push through mid, 4 grenades, and then just hold angles with taser?
I'm just going to say right now, if this is the round the taser comes into play, this would be like the opening to the debate, right? We've already seen a little bit from Cloud9, but if they win this on a taser round, yeah, I mean, basically put themselves in positions where they become viable.
And they did go for the 4 nades up mid as well, but Renegades very smart. They just held back. They realized it's probably another eco. Very smart. Here comes the play, though. JKS is going to be picking up the first frag onto Elise. The force is in, and these tasers simply aren't working. They were not able to get close enough to utilize them to their full potential. And in doing so, it is going to be another round to Renegades. Cheeky from Adren. He's waiting for someone to push him.
I know, right? We all want to see it. Oh, Fugly's going to do it, too. There it is. Finally, we get one. But only one. Therefore, it won't be overly costly for Renegades going into the next round.
At least Yam can smile, right?
Yeah, he's got a little cheeky grin on his face about that. But again, we still sit on match point. And like you said, double eco. All the options available to Team Liquid. Be interesting to see how aggressive they go with it. If they want to bring out an AWP on a Dread, they do. I thought they may even consider double. And again, the stack made these smokes with the lower height, I guess now they can see above it with that boost. So they initially put Adren above it, but no one comes through on mid, and Alicia's able to work toward at least the vents. So now they've got that swing position established. They can lead off with a third player toward A.
Renegades have typically struggled in these kind of scenarios, though. When the round's dragged on a tiny bit and they don't get mid control, they seem to run out of ideas, so the executions don't quite work out. So you can see here, Alish has resumed his position in mid. He's going to be smoking to keep that wall there for a bit longer. Still be plenty of time to play with after that smoke has disappeared, however, for Renegades if they want to push in. And Alish is by himself for now. So looking forward here, if they can pick him off, resume that control over mid, come up highway, get round the back of Liquid. This is still doable, and they're going to go for the boost. Alish could be the linchpin here for the CTs. But he's backed away.
And they have brought Nitro again back over to that A side as well to work with Fugly. They could get a Molotov. Fugly's position, smoke in front of it as well. That's tossed out from the doorway, so Fugly shuffles to his right. That's where Yam is again, mid-control given up. And is this going to be enough for Renegades to walk into the site? Fugly's still alive toward NBK right now, but only picks up one. And Sponge J, those might be his 2 biggest kills in the round. As again, I go to the Chris J reference on it, and I'm not sure why, but either way, Elige gets back in with one. It's a 3-on-3 post plant, and the Molotov at the top of highway will keep Elige off of the retake for just that little bit longer as Adren searches for the shot with the AWP.
Sponge with another frag. JKS chimes in as well. So on Hiko, we've seen him pull off crazier plays before. They're both pretty low. He does also have a defuse kit. This is doable. Second frag comes in. Renegades, they need to hold on to this round or they're going to be out. Hiko snaps across looking for the frag. Misses out on his opportunity maybe. The bomb is ticking down. He does get the frag. Has he got the time? This is going to be so close.
No, doesn't have it.
And it's going to blow up in his face. Oh, dearie me, there is.
So close again for Hiko to clutch it out, and now after a double eco, things do start to get a little bit curious for Team Liquid. Sponge walks in. I mean, those 2 kills were huge. Again, though, but mid-control initially started that off. We saw Renegades get up toward that white box, and as soon as Fugly wanted to get into a safer position to get out of those smokes and away from the Molotov, he realized he couldn't because he was pitched in from highway.
One thing is that Yam had a golden opportunity to land a frag and he actually missed it. And I thought from that point on, that could be the final nail in the coffin. I wasn't taking into account the jumping jack that is Sponge, getting 2 frags on the site. That being said, though, here we go through into round 28. Eco from Liquid, but they have picked up the frag onto Yam and converted the AWP across to Adren, which is pretty crucial. Bomb's been planted, though. I don't think the economy from Liquid's going to be great, so they may even think about just saving this AWP.
I think they should in this situation.
Fugly's way back, yeah. This is the smart play.
They can hunt him. They've got so much time to do it right now. He's going to try and work himself to T-spawn, but if he walks further around that corner right now, Renegades will spot him. With 2 players as well. If he even hits the first, there's going to be a second one on him, and now from B tunnels, he's going to get pushed. Sponge walks out. Finally manages to dodge the initial attack. Look at how quickly they're swarming on top of him. Match is going to be paused as well. Called by Team Liquid. This has to be a tactical timeout.
Absolutely will be. So here's some key things over the last few rounds that I guess I've noticed, and if I have, you can guarantee that likes of Adren and Hiko have mid control is absolutely
it's abysmal
vital.
right now.
Yeah, it's vital. Yeah, just confirm there that it is a tactical pause as expected. So I think they need to be running some different kind of strats towards mid. Elige has been there by himself, but then he ended up pulling away because he was by himself. As I said, the smoke's cleared and he couldn't afford to stay there. So maybe have 2 players in mid. Maybe try pushing up aggressively. I'm not sure.
Well, again, they have been switching up the strategy a little bit. Now throw a Dren toward A with the AWP from time to time. We haven't seen them there very much with it, and they're not going to be able to afford it here, I don't think. I didn't quite catch the money before we switched to these lovely camera shots. However, if they're going to bring Nitro back over there, then they need a Dren and Elige in mid right now. And Elige should, in my opinion, do it by trying to get vent control. Because then he can swing to the B side a lot easier, and worst case scenario, a Dren can start to lead off on a quick rotation toward A, and at least he gets information when they walk up.
That's so true. Like, you see a lot of the likes of Virtus Pro, right? Snacks plays vents a lot. And it's such a crucial area of the map because, as you say, you can hold the angle. If things go bad on B, you just drop down, no problems. I don't think I've seen Elige play vent a single time.
He's been in there once, and he only got there the once, and they didn't come mid that round. I think that was about 3 rounds ago.
And I think there isn't necessarily great Molotovs down either from Renegades, so I'm just trying to...
We also saw Fugly burn alive in there one round.
Yeah, we did. That's what I was kind of going back to.
Okay, so there we go. They do have enough money for the op on a Dren. Slightly lighter on utilities as a result, but still has a smoke, which is crucial. And Nitro's actually going to be the one that heads toward mid. Quick drop from a Dren and B. We haven't seen this yet. Oh, they're tearing them apart as Elige goes forward. JKS down. Caught with the nade out. Havoc will get the trade at least, but Hiko's here to save the day. And one of the plays we haven't quite seen, and I'd be curious if the window's blown out at Skyroom right now, because what they like to do, Hiko, when Elige goes forward like that, he'll actually knife. He won't even shoot out the window, because when he shoots out the window, it indicates that it's clearly a shot, which means the flash is coming. He'll knife out the window so that they don't hear a bullet. They think it is the flash. Okay, window's still there, but they'll turn away from the flash, and then he flashes it. So then they turn away right when Elige peeks out and then gets the peek, but that time didn't do it. Elige just went on his own.
It's like the next level mind games.
Yeah, I mean, just not having that bullet, right? The second they hear the window, they go, oh, nade, and it's not.
Yeah. Absolutely. Renegades, 2-4 trade early on in this round. Since then, it has been eerily quiet, understandably so. So much rests on this next round, and potentially the one after. Still a player in the form of... My eyesight's terrible. I think that's Azza. No, it's actually Sponge with the AWP. Okay. In main. The other two, however, are residing over on the B side. That Molotov comes out. Is going to force the hand of the CTs to rotate. 20 seconds to play with. Now they push on the site.
This is an interesting entry point from Sponge. But meanwhile, it's going to all come down on B. We'll see if they can find Sponge offsite. They do. Fugly gets him, and now it's down to just Havoc. All that remains. He's going to have to fight for the chances of Renegades to play for a spot. Today, they're not going to get it. Liquid will move on to play the Germans in the next match. And winner of that, well, it'll be straight through to the major. Could the Americans pick up 3 in a row? It would be spectacular. They've got a huge opponent to go against, and for Australia, that's 2 teams now that have to do it the hard way. Winter Fox awaits.
I'll tell you one thing. Yes, Liquid win that game. I do not think they'll be happy with that performance, though. I think they should have closed out a lot quicker than they ended up.
I mean, both here and Cobblestone, and now we do have to look to both these teams. How much is this update really affecting their CT sides? That's not a discussion for us. I think that's better suited by the analysts, and I do believe backup Sadokist in the form of the much better version Semler is ready with the panel.
Thank you, Mini-Me. Okay, so... How are we digesting this series? Because it's been, I mean, it feels like it's been a whole day long worth of matches, actually. It's been just one best of 3. We've seen everything here. Yeah. I mean, I've quoted, I think, everybody on the panel now on Twitter. Nearly. I think I got Nathan, I think I got you. Yeah, I don't spend enough time with Dan. But regarding this match, let's start with you, Yanko.
Yeah, well, I think most of us predicted it correctly.